Audience, and we are doing the regular format with this 2 minutes each and then 1 minute rebuttal. However, if the candidates feel they want to be shorter, go ahead and do that. This is a question from Amber Mankato. How do you plan on helping to make college more affordable for families and students? Do you think the financial aid system needs to be revamped? I believe Mr. Davis was first on this one.
Well, I think I can speak from good personal experience in terms of financing college. I had 14 years of college and 4 college degrees, more than I ever attended. My parents are both educators. My dad's a retired school principal, and my mother's a retired teacher. In high school, my dad taught me how to drive out of high school and said, "You're out of college," and I went on the loan board with it. But I started college in the 1970s. From the 1970s to the early 1990s with some work experience in there, I saw the price of tuition go up dramatically. And I don't know that the inherent cost of college went up that much, but what I did observe, something that Steve Swiggin sat down and told me once, which is absolutely true, is that you subsidize something, the cost of it goes up. During that period of time, we had increased caps of government loans. And what's happened is colleges have started to charge a lot more money. And you have Harvard University, for example, that has an endowment of $35 billion. I don't know what a university is doing with an endowment of $35 billion. I'm not saying the government should take it away, but that's a reflection of many different reasons that there's been a lot more money poured into it. We haven't necessarily got a lot more out of it. From my own personal experience, what I did is I worked, I saved, and I got loans, and we paid them back. But I'm not sure what the easy solution is here. A lot of colleges, they take a look at people's financial background and they allow them to pay lower tuition rates. That seems to be equitable. But we need to get to a point where everybody can afford a college education. I'm proud of the fact that I went to a state university for undergraduate. And I think it is an excellent role, this is a land-grant college, excellent role of state governments to help maintain state colleges so that they can provide good education at a reasonable cost.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. Mr. Walz?
Well, it's a great question, first of all, because it's in this economic time, what we're going to have to be very careful of is being penny wise and pound foolish. There's going to have to be a tightening across the board, obviously, but we need to make sure that our investments in the future through education are our single biggest economic driver, is to making sure we have the most innovative, the most talented, and the most ready to compete in the 21st century economy. We're going to be competing, and I know this, I taught those students in both Sean Wells down the hill and Mankato West. They're going to be competing for the same job. I've seen China open a university every week for the last 5 years. They're opening new universities and continuing on. This country has cut back on that. And what we've done is we've had the same philosophy we've had in anything. Privatize it. Privatize the war. Allow Halliburton and KBR to make decisions. We said privatize education. When I went to school in the 70s, at a public university, and also this one right here where I received my degree from, about 30% of it was in the forms of student loans or finding other means to pay for it. About 70% was in the forms of grants. And I used the GI Bill and was able to go through that way, but Pell Grants were frozen. For 6 straight years under the Bush administration, they froze and didn't keep pace. This new Congress, one of the first things I voted on was to increase significantly Pell Grants. Another thing I voted on was to make sure that privatization, these student loans that were guaranteed at 2 and 3% by the government, saw a great opportunity to make money, so they were sold to the private sector. The private banks who started charging 7 and 8%, and then they started bundling, along with subprime loans that are all part of this, crunching down the ability of students to get through college. We're going to have to make a decision in this country. Are we going to keep that generational promise to this generation that was given to us, that allowed us to build this economy, and now give it to them? We've got a lot of people that, I don't know, I guess they climb the ladder, which is what America's all about, and then they did something no other generation's done before. They pulled the ladder up behind them. Let's give the ladder back down and get them up there.
Thank you, Mr. Walz. Mr. Davis, one response?
We need to acknowledge that our university system is actually the envy of the world. We have so many people that come from abroad so that they can get a degree in the United States of America. It's a rigorous system. I can speak also from personal experience because I spent a year in Europe on scholarship going to school. We are the envy of the world in higher education and the university system, and we need to keep it that way. When my father went to college, it was about 10% of people in the adult population got a college education. Now it's in the vicinity of 50%. So we've made great progress. We need to preserve them. I don't believe that we should be cutting back on benefits at all, but I'm not sure that there's an easy solution that we can give 100% of the people college educations where it costs $50,000 a year at the most expensive universities. That's why I do advocate a public education system and also a private education system working hand in hand.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. Going on to the next